Hey guys, this is Adam, and I'm here with Casey, and this is Wine Now, Sweat Later.
We did it again, 2 consecutive times in a row.
Yes, neither of us are drinking today. I guess, why is that?
Chug, chug, chug. So yeah, you called me out, I believe it was about 10 days ago, somewhere around there, that I was jumping into a show soon. So here we are, 3 days out from the Chicago Pro.
That is awesome. And I actually just kind of started my diet, to be honest. So I had
Oh
gotten some
boy.
really good workouts in and some consistency. And I didn't want to jump right in a diet when my training was good. And now I feel like I've gotten some good strength back, and that was important to me. And now I can
Yeah.
start kind of reeling things in a little bit, and then I'll see what I want to do from there. But
That's awesome. That's really cool to hear coming from you, because sometimes they just think that you're the brains behind the action, but no, like you're part of it. You're like, you're a player on the team.
yeah, I like to, do the things my clients do. My programming is always better for my clients when I am training more consecutively. And honestly, it's just, I think my emails, I think every aspect of my life is better when I get to be really consistent with my training. So,
Yeah. Get to be a part of the action, so it makes you feel like you're a little bit more in control too. So, and get those endorphins going and get some good sleep and all that stuff.
So this is a really exciting weekend because not only do we have Universe Championships going on, Chicago Pro is definitely a really big show. So
Yeah.
a lot of big names are just going to be kind of scattered about. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about this prep.
So I would say, so my last show last year was and it was October, early October. Um, I got fourth. It was the biggest show in IFBB bikini history. There was like 43 or 44 of us or something, and so fourth I was super happy with some actually really awesome, solid pros. Monica Ellis, she's J Lifts on Instagram, and then Marcia Goncalves. Marcia is pretty seasoned. I think she won that show in October. But so it's awesome to see. Everybody's kind of like laying low now. Whoever's qualified for the Olympia, everybody's just kind of like waiting it out. I think they're about like 12 or 13 weeks out now. I'm not sure exactly. But I felt like this was a good time to kind of jump in and just see if we can rattle some numbers around and see if I can't get my qualification for the Olympia. I did pick this time just because this time just kind of felt good to me. So, but I haven't been on stage since October, so I went right from there and started doing my reverse as I always do. I got my calories pretty high up until like I would say about April. And then I started to, I was like, you know what, I did enough bulking, my calories are pretty high. I was doing minimal cardio. There's not, at that point, there's not really much you can do except keep training and things like that, and just keep things rolling. Introduce new supplements, things like that, to kind of keep muscular gain and maintain any muscle that you've gained. I call that just kind of like being, for me, like there's a certain level you reach where, you kind of get tapped out. So you want to kind of peel back a layer and kind of see what's going on, see what you made. So I started I just started watching what I was eating more so, rather than eating donuts every week. I would eat them maybe once every 2 weeks, or you know what I mean? Just kind of bouncing back to more like a refeed type of schedule, getting my metabolism in check, kind of like testing it, running through stuff like that. And that was like right after the Arnold, so about April. And then I still had no desire to compete yet. I said I still wanted to work on things, get everything situated, get my mind right. And then I found myself, you can just kind of tell when you're kind of getting that itch when you are, when you start seeing different things happening with your body and you're like, oh, can I do this? Can I dial down and, a certain amount of time and get ready for the show and do well, be competitive. Because for me, I don't show up to a show if I'm not ready for it. That's just how I've always been.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't think that I'm competitive, I just don't go. As a pro, you have to be, like when you sign that contract, you got to show up.
you're in. Fans are
Right.
there to see you. And I think that's something a lot of people don't understand is when you guys sign that paper, you guys have to show up. Prejudging and finals, no matter how good, how bad the placement, you got to be there. Because people are there to see the pros. You know, people come from all over.
Yeah. Yepper. It's also a good way to meet your fans and your followers and the people that look up to you and admire you. And then also like people that you have no idea that you've affected their lives in such amazing ways. You get to like meet those people, you know? So like if you sign that dang thing, you better show the hell up because people are showing up for you, you know, to support you. So, and then, so I think, I mean, I officially, cause I was, you know, like I said, like you get that kind of itch and you kind of like do those little spurts of like, maybe I should go out drinking with my friends one last time. Maybe I should like go out and, you know, kind of just like go on a buffet rampage of Nashville one last time. You know what I mean? And I did that for 3 weekends in a row. And then I don't usually do that. I'm not really a big drinker or anything like that. I don't really like to eat off plan or anything like that either, you know.
Did you happen to ride the scooters afterwards, or?
I rode the scooters once, but and I actually really liked it. It was kind of like a thrill, but I just see myself, you know, scuffing my knee or not, you know, something crazy because like I'm so clumsy. Imagine that.
I was there for the annual conference in November, and those scooters were everywhere. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, they're even more crazy now. They're trying to get rid of them, though. I think there's just been too many injuries and things like that and lawsuits and all that. But definitely looks like everybody's having a blast on them. So maybe I'll have to jump on them once we're done with this show. I got to make sure I can put those heels on and walk on stage. So I'll wait a couple more days. But so at this prep, I would consider, because I was drinking and eating freely, not even thinking about anything. My weight was still like 133. I was still, you know, technically considered off season. I would say that this prep was 3 weeks and a peak week. So I feel really ready for this show. So
awesome.
yeah, and my calories never really got any lower than like 1350 on any given day. And then at the beginning, I was actually doing refeeds like every 4 or 5 days, because once I start dieting, my body goes right back into that. It goes right back into that cycle where it just knows what's up. So, and it's actually happening again this peak week. It's, you know, when it starts, you know, when we start doing like different types of training and different ways of thinking, my body's like always one step ahead of me, and that's typical. So your body's kind of one step ahead of you, especially when you start getting all these things going on in your head. And I have this like little thing that I say, like as soon as like that tan hits my body knows to like dehydrate itself. Do you know what I mean? So, but it's funny because people will be like, well, how'd you get ready in 3 weeks? You know, like, oh, you stay lean all year round. In my head, you know, that's harder. Maintaining a certain amount of leanness while growing is much more challenging, and you have to have much more discipline and, you know, express your good habits that you had in prep. You have to keep expressing them for months. You know, I think it's much harder than just gaining a bunch of fat and then spending 16 weeks to get ready for a show. So I've always had that mindset of trying to stay within a certain level, you know, given how much muscle mass I really think that I've, you know, begun to rock at a certain point. So
that's a tough balance too, to like be off season and yet stay lean, but also not go through this yo-yo cycle of like some really big uncontrollable weekends, and then, you know, Monday through Friday you're dieting really hardcore to get rid of that glycogen shift, which really doesn't provide much of a metabolic benefit. And I get a lot of girls that come to me, they're in that cycle post show, and they're like, I'm only dieting on, they'll say like 70 grams of carbs, and I'm, you know, 8 weeks post show. And I'm like, but are you really dieting on 70 grams of carbs? Because on the weekends, it's just insane amount. So
yeah, when you take those, you know, those carbs and things from the weekend and you spread them out in that 7 days, you probably ended up eating like 200 a day. So it's, you know, it's like, you know, at that point, like if your body can't handle that many carbs, you know, that it's not going to handle that many carbs.
Right. It's going to be better spread out over the week. There's just going to be a better metabolic benefit there versus than
Right.
just like 2 days. So
Right. But
I'm excited for you. I think, it was interesting because when we did our first podcast together in May, I could tell you were looking leaner. So I knew that you'd shifted something. And
yeah.
we'd kind of talked about you might jump in this year, but you weren't sure. So it's kind of cool to be doing the podcast, not really thinking about it, and then all of a sudden, boom, she's going.
Yeah, it's here. I was actually just trying to bring my body to like a comfortable state for the Angel Competition Bikinis fashion show. So that's actually what I was like I was just trying to just keep my water weight down and things like that, and trying to just get my metabolism like, and kind of just test things out. And I think that I got the motivation because it was all just going so well. I don't know if I would have been doing the same thing right now if it didn't go as well as I, had planned.
Yeah. How fun was that fashion show, by the way?
That was really awesome. And I definitely plan on being there again next year. It was so much fun. No pressure. Everybody backstage was, having fun and talking and chatting and taking pictures. And I mean, there was obviously a job to be done, and it was kind of crazy and, chaotic. But, at the end of the day, we all had so much fun. Everybody was just mentally and physically drained. Like, that's when, you had like a great time.
That's cool. I had 30 clients down there. I think they all met you. It was Johnny, Alyssa, and Ariel.
Yeah.
So they said they had a blast.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I definitely plan on doing it again next year too.
That's super cool.
If you, I can actually kind of give you, I can kind of give you details and stats on how my prep went. I know that we kind of wanted to talk a little bit like about the last 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think I started officially dieting the week before the Angel Competition Bikinis fashion show. And I wasn't doing anything low. I was at about 1,700 calories and still was eating 150 grams of carbs because it was just a fashion show. You know what I mean? It was just kind of something you wanted to just feel comfortable in your skin for. And then I started taking it a little bit more seriously when I realized that was actually kind of starting to work a little bit. And then, for me, I'm 5'7". My metabolism is pretty damn good. I was not really doing that much cardio then, maybe 20 minutes, 5 times a week. And then I started to bring it up to about 30 minutes just to kind of see what would happen. And it just, stuff really started to happen. And I could definitely tell that my body has recompositioned itself, or, I, obviously did that. But it's so crazy to see what I weigh now versus what I weighed last year. And, I'm pretty much banking on that same look. It's really crazy, that same amount of leanness. So it's really, really cool to see. So last year I was 121. This year I'm 128 right now. And I'm borderline, that leanness that I achieved last year.
That's awesome.
But the last 2.5 weeks I've been at about 145 grams of protein, 150 grams of carbs, and 40 grams of fat. And I stopped refeeding every 4 to 5 days about 6 days ago. So whenever I got back from that mayhem weekend in Bloomsburg, I kind of stopped doing any refeeds or anything like that. Just kind of wanted to bring my body in and let it kind of dry out a little bit. And here we are, and everything's really working really well. So
that's awesome.
I'm excited to do it. I'm excited. There's a lot of people on that show that I haven't competed with before, so.
That is cool. Now, we talk a lot about kind of the science of contest prep, calories and stuff. A big area I don't venture into too often, just right out the gates with people, is supplements, because I think so many people discredit the most important things, and then they put that kind of ahead of the game. But they changed the game on us because we haven't talked about it. Are there any supplements that you absolutely are kind of staples for you with prep? Or we could even say any kinds of foods or anything. What are just some of your contest prep necessities?
We can do a little bit of both. So I love having, well, first of all, I'll tell you right now, every morning I have a band body before I go do my cardio. because I love having just a little bit of something in my stomach, and I feel like my cardio just goes a little bit better. I have a little bit more energy to kind of blow. And I eventually increased my cardio to 40 minutes. So like once you hit like that 30-minute mark, it's like, okay, we can do this. You got this. Get your little legs moving. So I always have a band body right beforehand, and then I'll usually have like another half a band body like later on the day whenever I kind of feel like I need a little something chocolatey or a cookie, taste or whatever it is. Just something to crush a craving, or I'll have like my big bowl of oatmeal, whatever it is. But so oatmeal is always a staple. Fruit's always a staple. Chicken, I do salmon, I do steak, a variety of rice, a variety of potatoes. And I tend to actually try to stray away from vegetables because my body just doesn't work well with vegetables. It just kind of like locks up a little bit, like green beans. Asparagus doesn't really bother me, but asparagus is fine. But broccoli and green beans and like cauliflower, those things like that, they kind of like, they bother me a little bit, and I could just tell a little bit there's a difference there. So I tend to stray away from that stuff. If anything, I'll have like 2 ounces of something if I'm feeling extra hungry. But other than that, the nut butters and almonds, things like that, I usually stay pretty typical. Just because I want to be predictable from each day to day. I don't want there to be a weird variable in there and then I go, oh crap, that's what happened. Do you know what I mean? I just want to be predictable, that I can be like, oh, I'm definitely probably going to drop tomorrow, or if I eat this, I'm going to be a lot drier tomorrow, or whatever it is.
Yeah, it can be really a waiting game if you get any kind of GI distress. So knowing your body is really what a lot of coaches talk about with foods on peak week, and making sure my clients don't change too many things. So for Universe, a lot of my week is looking at photos, but also seeing what my clients are eating. If they do have digestive issues, trying to figure out what that is. Is it urgent enough that it's just a waiting or not a waiting game, or is it something we need to tend to right away? Sometimes a day or two it passes, but sometimes heavy lactose can be an offender for people if they're eating too much of maybe the healthy ice creams and things of that nature. Can be difficult. Some people eat that stuff and they're fine though. So
right. Yeah.
Definitely a good call that you keep things pretty predictable.
Yeah, I just kind of figure I only got a couple more days to go, just freaking trek it out,
There's a donut at the end of that tunnel, isn't there?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of food there. I'll be in Chicago. I feel like that's like one of the like food capitals of the world. I'm gonna get a little bit of everything, just a mini bikini girl buffet, just have a little bit of everything, and then I'm gonna come home and Oscar and I are gonna celebrate my 4-week prep.
Nice.
And hopefully some really awesome results.
To this one?
No, I'm just gonna fly up myself, and then I actually have a client coming in, Michelle. We actually talk about her very often. She's bringing a boyfriend with her. They're gonna come support, so that'll be awesome. I won't be there alone, and I'll have some voices in the audience.
That's awesome. Have you done a show alone before?
Oh yeah, majority of them.
Does it bother you, or do you feel?
Oh no, I'm like this. Like, yeah, I'm actually I do. I've actually had a record of like I do better when I have no one with me.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I think it's because it's more like just like an inner trust and an inner peace. And otherwise, if there's somebody available, like look at them, I'd be like, can you look at me? Do I look full? Do I look dry? Do I look flat? Do I look this? Do I look that? You know what I mean? And I mean, Oscar 50/50 doesn't even know what the hell I'm talking about half the time. So, he don't know what flat is. He doesn't know, but, so my supplements too. So I take a lot of the SteelFit stuff, but the breakdown of the SteelFit stuff is like a CLA. It's like, and there's like a carb partitioner there. It's the Steel Core. And then I was taking ALA, but I don't really need that stuff. My body's really good at digesting and passing nutrients on and through and stuff like that. You know what I mean? There is times where my body isn't so good at it, but right now everything's going like really well. Obviously some vitamin C, vitamin D. Even though I am getting more vitamin D outside, my body just really likes the vitamin D. So I just keep that in. I don't mess with it. And I do actually up it more in the winter to about 10,000 IU. So, and I mean, so that just vibes pretty good with me. Let me see. I just started taking MTS Tyrant.
Okay.
So it's like a hardener, cortisol support. Just in the last couple of days, I've noticed that I have a little less water underneath my skin. And it's probably just a little bit of stress that I didn't realize I was carrying with me. And it might be physical stress because I haven't really given myself like a total 100% rest day because of the short amount of time I had to prepare. I just kind of wanted to start introducing a little bit more rest this week to kind of like get it to like I did a 10 less minutes of cardio today, and I'm going to kind of see like how I wake up tomorrow, and I'm just playing everything by ear. Because you can't, I mean, at this point, you can't botch a physique unless you do something, you know, way out of line. So, especially when it's rolling. So, so anything could happen. I could end up, you know, carving up for 2 days. I could end up just having a nice big meal on Friday. I could end up waiting and just having a nice big meal on Saturday, whatever it is. We'll just kind of play it by ear. I'm going to leave the scale at home and just watch everything kind of come together. Because that 128 is already like kind of like I'm like mind blown. I don't even know what to do with it. And then, but I'm really happy with it. Like, give me 128.4 tomorrow. I don't care. You know. That might mean my muscles are a little bit more fuller. I don't know. But and then I take oh my gosh, there's so many things. Oh, krill oil, because I can't do the fish oil.
Okay.
Like if you burp or something, like it's like fish. So I do like the krill oil, and it's like 50% like less that weird fishy smell.
Yeah. It is.
And then the bodies have, oh goodness. But no, I do like the krill oil a lot, and I actually upped that too, and I feel a lot of difference actually in my joints just from upping the krill oil. That's so bizarre, right? Just how quick it happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, oh my gosh, I have a whole thing out there. What do I take? I know like the Band Bodies have like egg white protein and pea protein and stuff in it. Cocoa, things like, you know, that's good, like antioxidants and things like that. But DC, taking a light fat burner. I'm taking 1/3 of the dose. And then, and I literally only take that to just stay dry. You know what I mean? Like just to keep the water up underneath my skin, and it helps a lot. Plus like gobs and gobs and gobs of coffee. I think I'm at right now, for a short amount of time, this is fine, but when I'm done with the show, I'm going to start kind of bringing my coffee down. I'm at about like 675 milligrams a day right now. But again, I've only been doing that for like a week and a half. So once the show hits, I can start bringing that back down, because I don't really recommend people just doing that forever, because that's not going to be good on your adrenals. That's not going to be good. You're going to wake up one day and be like, who am I? You know?
Now, do you sleep well during prep, or is that something you ever struggle with?
So I usually sleep really well up until about like 2 or 3 weeks out when I'm doing like a pretty long prep. And I honestly think that's just because I get so lean at a certain point, and my body just kind of wakes itself up even when there's like just a little bit of noise, or there's like a temperature change or anything like that. And I know too, I could just tell when my metabolism speeding up, because I'll wake up in the middle of the night just like full blown like sweating. So like things like that happen. But I actually started taking that MTS Tyrant recommended by a friend, and I love it because, like, you know how you like wake up in the middle of the night and you kind of like, you have your eyes squinted and you're like going to the restroom, you know where you're going, and you have to wake up a little bit to go.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be able to sit down, So, but now with that MTS Tyrant, I literally get out of bed and I'm just like, it like keeps me asleep. Like I almost like I'm asleep the entire time. I swear to God, it's so funny. But I love that MTS Tyrant.
I have my clients use a supplement called ZZZ. I'm sure it's really similar, but it helps people stay in a deeper sleep. So they do notice that if they get up to use the restroom at night, they're not quite there. But it's
Yeah.
GABA, L-theanine, mucopruins in it, and it's amazing. It's a great supplement. I've used it a couple times, and I get much deeper sleep. Not that it's ever an issue for me, but my wife started taking it, and she loves it as well.
Yeah, I was taking the Steel Dreams, and I only needed just one cap of that. I think the full dose is like 2 or 3 caps, depending on what you're kind of looking for.
Yeah.
It wasn't providing me with like the cortisol support, but that's what the Steel Core is there for. But I think my body was just kind of used to it at that point. But that MTS Tyrant is literally what keeps me like out. I can get like 6 hours of sleep and feel like I got my normal 10 hours.
Isn't that crazy? It really does make a big difference.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, other than that, like everything's just I've just been kind of coasting in. I really honestly didn't change that much. I had a few tough days where I was like, oh my gosh, why did I do this? Did I do it too early? Oh, do I want to compete this year? And you kind of go through those motions. But I always, like, especially since I've coached myself this round, I always take one bad day and I wait one more day.
Mm-hmm.
So I give myself another 24 hours. So if I feel like crap the first day, I don't change nothing. I don't just start eating carbs. I don't just start doing anything crazy. I don't change my caffeine. I don't do anything. I go to bed at a normal time. I force all this matter to happen. And then the next day I usually wake up and it was like nothing ever happened. Yep. Refresh. Your body does whatever it's got to do, adjust at night. You wake up and it's like that bad day never even happened. Literally 90% of the time.
Yeah, that's definitely true. You look back and wonder why the last day was even so difficult anyhow.
Yeah. That's like I had I would say like 4 or 5 days like that, plus that crazy weekend. But I mean, like, again, like I don't ever like associate like emotional things with those like that. So I don't ever like bring those together because those don't make sense and they don't go on stage with you either. So
yeah. That definitely makes sense. There comes a point where, emotions can affect your day, but they really are separate. And I'm really big on my clients staying positive. And I don't mind a client coming to me with a problem, but I don't want 20 problems. So like you fix one and then there's another, because I'll get to a point where I'm just like, just send me your numbers.
Yeah, right.
So,
I mean, you've got to be coachable.
You gotta have a champion mindset, and I'm really big on surrounding my people with positive people too. So all it can take is one person like that on your team to almost think like that kind of behavior is acceptable, because you don't only see it in your emails, you see it on their social media too, and we gotta pull the plug on you.
Yeah. Yep. And it goes, the same goes for the people that set a really good example, and they start highlighting things on Instagram. Then the rest of the team's like, wow, like, this girl could pack, 14 days worth of meals in one bag and stick to her diet. You know what I mean? Or she can fly and go do her job on peak week. Like, holy smokes. Like I was complaining about not getting enough water in yesterday. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's nice to have people on the team set a really good example for other people too. So, I always make sure that I do highlight those clients as well, because it provides a lot of inspiration and motivation and good guidance for everybody else that sees it.
Absolutely. It makes a huge difference. And I think that's one thing is like your clients have to love seeing you get back in it. And I saw your announcement on your Instagram feed that you were signing the papers when you got back home. I'm sure you got a lot of great feedback for that.
Yeah,
that was when Instagram was working, but
yeah, right. Oh my god, wait, so it's not working today?
It's been the stories have been all messed up.
Yes, okay. I thought I was the only one. I had Oscar restart our Wi-Fi like 3 times in the last hour and a half. Okay,
poor Oscar.
It's not me. Cool.
You have to tell him now, and you have to buy him ice cream.
I think he's getting some beers in with my dad right now, so I think he's good.
That is awesome. And you have family visiting this week too.
Yeah, my dad and his girlfriend are here.
That's cool.
Yeah. I'm really lucky that they are supporting me, and because I was supposed to spend the whole weekend with them here, so I'm really happy that they're supporting me and going out there and trying to get it again. So it's awesome.
People don't understand when you get that pro card what a job this is. You know, it really does take time from family and friends, and that's really awesome that you have a support system. A lot of people don't understand what we do.
Right. Yeah, I think my dad has always been a really good fan and supporter of what I do, because I deeply fell in love with this. So, and I really ran with it once I figured out exactly, you know, that I wanted to do it. So, and I never really felt that way about anything in my entire life. So I think he kind of noticed that, and ever since day one, he's always supported me. So
That's so cool.
yeah.
Well, when
But
do you fly out for your show? Is it tomorrow?
yeah, we've got check-ins tomorrow evening, and then like a short athlete meet and greet. A lot of people usually come to see the incredible women bodybuilders, which like is kind of like half the reason I show up. It's so freaking cool and motivating. You know, I mean, it's not my preference, but it's just like, you know that they paved the way for figure and bikini, and like the miles and the hardships and the things that they had to go through in order to establish women in the bodybuilding industry is so freaking cool. It's so motivating. That's why I love Tim Gardner shows, the Wings of Strength shows, because you get that every single time.
You do. Yeah, it's cool.
Do.
I
Yeah.
have a fitness girl doing pro fitness down there, Tony Wheeler. So you'll have to say hi to her when you see her.
Absolutely.
And then I'll be down at Universe, or else I'd be
She's short blonde hair.
No, she's I'd say like middle height, dark hair. But
Okay.
I'll send you her profile through Instagram, as long as Instagram is working again.
Please do. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you'll be up in Teaneck?
I'll be at Teaneck. Yeah. This has been a difficult week. Just so many athletes so close to pro cards. And, you know, really going over that judging feedback, collectively seeing what actually needs to happen. And sometimes it's just about going in and doing what we do best, which is coming in the best we can.
Yeah, honestly, it's crazy, because like a lot of girls will take the feedback as if they were comparing them to the person that placed above them or two places above them. They're not making that comparison. They're literally looking at you solo by the pictures you sent and telling you what you need to improve. But even then, you've got to take that with a grain of salt, because sometimes it's literally a matter of maybe just carving up a little bit more, or not carving up so much, or, you know, whatever, you know, just little details, little tiny details like that. So, and sometimes, I mean, a lot of my girls think they need a whole off season to go build muscle. You know what I mean? There's a majority of them that think that. And when in reality, all they need to do is just kind of just keep pushing a little bit more, maybe another like 6 weeks, find some more leanness, and they're going to look just as big as the girl as they thought they needed to look like weeks prior. You know what I mean? That leanness gives you a different aesthetic. If you look at someone and their delts just already look bigger because they're just that much leaner.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah. So that, you know, but so that's why you always just take feedback. I mean, it's great to ask for it, but always take it with a grain of salt, and really, you don't ever take it personally. Take it literally, and just, you know, you run with it. So, I mean, if you really think that you need bigger shoulders, and like, not in comparison to the next girl, but for yourself, because you think that you're not proportionate or something like that, then sure, go build your shoulders up. But if you think that you can get somewhere, you know, just by getting a little bit leaner, you think that if you just bring your waist in a little bit more, pump those shoulders up a little bit more, you're going to land it, and just do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's one more show? If you're in good health and everything's rolling really well. Because that was actually my issue and feedback. Every single feedback that I've ever gotten, and I've never really asked for a lot of feedback, but there was a couple shows where I did, because I was really wondering what the heck could I have brought better. So I would write in, and it would always be bigger shoulders, fuller delts, and I wouldn't change anything. I would just eat a little bit more, and you know, I would end up being a little bit leaner from show to show, and I popped myself on that Olympia stage.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, you know?
Eat more, you got a little fuller, which makes you look, you know, bigger.
Right.
It's great. So
Yeah, there's a lot of different variables. So, but yeah, don't ever take feedback personally.
that fine tuning can be really awesome.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
will be wishing you luck this weekend. That's for sure.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm really excited. I'm bringing like 10 bikinis because I don't even know what color I want to wear yet. I'm just so excited.
That's going to be
Just
a
bringing
heavy
them all.
suitcase with all this.
Yeah, pretty much. I think I'm bringing, the teal, the blues, the purples. I'm bringing my Salt Lake City pink and black one. I'm bringing everything. So we'll see kind of what I'm feeling, kind of what the inner Casey wants to wear on that day.
It's going to be a surprise, so we'll be watching.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So yeah, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it.
Always. Well, we will be wishing you luck, and I can't wait to catch you on next week's podcasts again.
Yeah, we'll deliver some good news. And hopefully I have a little bit more fluff to my face from eating all the goods all weekend long.
Yes.
And I wish you and your girls and everybody, the guys and everything, all the best of luck at NPC Universe too.
Thank you so much. I'll be keeping you guys posted. So
yeah, let's get it.
Yes. Well, we will see you guys next week, and thanks for joining us again, Casey. And good luck next weekend.
Thank you so much.